What's up, dirtbags? Welcome to episode 121 of the Midwest Angler Podcast. Scott Sturman, Matt Deitch. We're coming back.
We're back.
We are back.
For another week.
Yeah. I don't know. Matt, how was your weekend?
That was a pretty good weekend. You and Grady and I got out and did a little fishing on Saturday from the shore. Wetted a few lines, caught a few bass, so that was good.
I caught the biggest bass.
You definitely did.
And you and Grady each owe me $1.
We still do, don't we?
Yeah.
All right. Just take it off all those $1 bets that Grady and I have had in the past that he's never paid up
I was going to
for.
say, Grady owes you a solid $50-$60.
I think my favorite part of the other day was when he tried to make that cast as far as he could make it and almost ended up going with the lure right into the water.
I didn't see it, and that's disappointing.
He just about went right into the water with his pole because
You said you about went in, and I looked over there, and Grady was he was cleaning out his pants because I think it was a little too cold to be falling into the water.
Oh, definitely. It was chilly out there.
Yep.
I mean, we've been getting, I don't know if we've had a windier spring for a long time than what we've had this year so far.
I am freaking sick and tired of it.
I mean, it's never even like, it's not like it's like, well, bearable, like a 10 to 15 mile per hour wind. It always seems like it's up there in that 15 to 25 and gusty.
Yep. But I do think that's going to change.
Yeah, hopefully.
This week.
Yeah.
It's I'm not saying the wind is going to change, but we're actually going to get some decent temperatures.
We've had snow the last few days.
Yeah, that was kind of wild waking up to a little bit of white stuff this morning. Friday night, Grady's birthday party here at our house, and we ordered 2 large pizzas and 100 wings.
2 large pizzas and 100 wings.
Yep.
And then what did the rest of you guys eat? That was for Grady.
Yeah, that was for Grady. And what are they laughing about over there?
We
got freaking Ramrod.
Two teenagers in the house tonight.
Yeah, the freaking moron Ramrod. For those of you guys that are new to this show, go back and listen to a bunch of the first episodes we ever recorded, and they were basically just Ramrod bash sessions. He's been over in Africa with the Army. Thanks for your service, but you could have stayed over there.
Or at least just down in Texas or something.
Yeah, somewhere other than here. But no, Ramrod and Big Tasty are in the house tonight, sitting over there playing Fortnite or
13,
something. Nope.
13 years old now.
Yeah, Grady's 13.
Ramsey acts like he's 13.
Yeah, he's still 14. But no, we ordered 100 wings. And to piggyback off last week, because I did have a whole heck of a lot of fun with that episode and talking about wings, I want to talk just a little bit more about wings here. Don't worry, we'll get to fishing, but I want to talk a little bit more about wings. Matt, I'm going to give you a couple names of fishermen, a lot of which who we talked about last week, and then I want you to tell me what flavor you're kind of pegging them to do, and I want to know boneless or bone-in.
Boneless or bone-in. All right.
All right, I'm going to start off. I'm also going to give my take after you give your take. We're going to start off with Thane Jensen.
Thane. Let's see here. For Thane, I think I'm just going to go with, I think he's going to go with like the hot.
A hot.
Yeah.
Regular hot.
Yeah,
I was thinking
hot.
hot barbecue, like a barbecue, but a little bit spicier than where I'm rolling.
Nah, I'm going hot. I'm going boneless with Thane.
Boneless with Thane?
Yeah.
See, this is what I'm thinking. I'm thinking Thane is the type of guy that when he's up, up around home, he's going boneless.
Right. When he's with the guys.
You get him out and about with the guys, or you get him gone on a fishing trip, it goes bone in real fast. Real fast.
I could see that. I could definitely see that.
Yeah.
Yep. At home, he's using the fork to dip it into his sides, and then.
I got a friend that is more extreme than Thane, of course, but when we used to go on these ATV trips out to the Black Hills, I mean, this is a guy that worked for Berkshire Hathaway down in Omaha, and I mean, he was valedictorian here at our school. Mm-hmm. You know who I'm talking about. We take off on an ATV trip and immediately buying cigarettes, and we're not showering the whole damn trip. It's just drinking, smoking, gonna sleep out on the deck, just haggard. And I mean, he literally showed up to go on the trip in pointy dress shoes and frickin' dress pants. I don't know. It was crazy. You get away from home and you get with the boys and things happen. Kind of
you
like
let your hair
bone-in
down.
wings.
That's right.
Okay, next up, Jason Mitchell.
Going back to Jason Mitchell.
Going back, everyone knows who he is, so you kind of got to have him.
Well, I'm going to go bone in for him.
Bone in.
And I'm going to go something kind of like an Asian zing or something.
Asian zing with
like
Jason
that.
Mitchell, huh?
Like just not basic.
I'm
a little
going
heat.
mango habanero.
Yeah,
I think he's going to like spicy stuff,
right.
right?
That's what I mean. Like a little more heat, not the crazy stuff, but
And a tall beer.
yeah,
Tall beer.
wash it all down.
Yep. Low key. All right. Brian Brosdale.
Rosedal. Okay.
Brosdale. Brian Brosdale.
I'm gonna go bone in,
Bone in.
and I'm
Absolutely.
going hot.
Hot.
Yeah,
Yep.
he seems like the type of guy that he's gonna get the hot ones.
I agree.
You agree on that one?
I all the way across. I agree with you there.
Yeah.
That doesn't make for a good podcast, but I agree
No,
with you.
sometimes it's okay to agree on some things.
John Hoyer,
Hoyer, ooh,
National Walleye Tour Pro.
yeah. Let's
Past
see
guest.
here. Past guest. I'm gonna go Parmesan garlic for him.
Garlic palm. Yeah. I kind of forgot about those.
Yeah, I think that's just something like that he enjoys. I mean, kind of mild and mellow, kind of like he
Yep.
seems to be, just kind of laid back. It's kind of a laid back wing. So
And he's going boneless.
yeah,
Yeah. All right. Yeah. You know what? I can't argue. I wouldn't have thought about that garlic parm, but yeah, you're right on that. You're right. Seth Fighter.
fighter. I'm just gonna go just straight up traditional with him, bone in, washing it down with a Budweiser or Miller Lite, whatever he's drinking.
Yep. What flavor?
Just tradition, just regular, just
Buffalo stop. Buffalo.
yep.
Whatever.
just the mild or whatever it is. Not
And
the
he
hot.
ain't even getting wet naps at the end.
No,
like he's
no,
just
no.
running it.
And he likes it because it's going to stay in his mustache for a little bit.
Yeah,
And savor it later
yeah.
on, the old flavor saver.
and then
So.
we're gonna go outside and we're gonna. I see him eating 8 and then going out and burning a red.
And
Coming
then come
back in,
and getting another.
having another 8,
Yep.
going out and burning a red. Probably, I think you're right on the Miller Lite. I think you're right on
so.
Miller Lite. But yeah,
So.
he ain't washing up afterwards. Like, I mean, we're running it for the day. Like, what you see is what you get here, guys.
that little orange on there. It's
Yep. I text Craigie and asked him who would win between him and Jason Mitchell, right?
I saw that. You put that as
I
the cover on
I
this
had to
week's
do
episode.
that. I had to do that just because. I mean,
And he was just being mild or modest about it.
you think so?
I still think he'd whoop him.
I think you're right. I think Craig's right. Like, he's got his days. Even I'm like that. Like, there's
Right.
days when I mean,
Oh yeah.
I could
don't-
eat a quarter beef.
I think that Matt Johnson needs to lay down the gauntlet for the clam guys. He could smoke some wings up.
Oh,
'cause he's a
man.
master at smoking.
No
it looks
doubt
like.
about it. Holy
So
moly!
he needs to do that next time there's a big.
Up at Clam Pro Day.
Yeah.
Up at Clam Pro Day. What do you think Dave Gens is running for wings?
Ooh, Dave. I'm just gonna go with like a honey barbecue.
Honey barbecue,
Yeah.
boneless.
Yeah.
I think there was a day when he would have run bone in,
Right.
but I mean that time has come and gone. Like, he's done working that hard. He's done working that hard. The only time he's going to work that hard is find some fish.
So, did we talk about what your favorite flavor is last week?
My favorite flavor?
Yeah.
Whatever barbecue's lowest on the hot scale for me. And then I like Asian food. I love Chinese
Right.
food. Like, I mean, one of my favorites. But I don't understand why all these wing places think that if they're going to have an Asian flavored wing, that it's got to be the spiciest.
Right. No.
Like,
I think that's something that a lot of the wing people get caught up in is trying to have like the hottest wing, and because I suppose they used to be called hot wings or whatever. But I mean, you want something that people can enjoy and not have to like pay for it for days later.
there is no joy in getting hurt while you're eating.
No.
I mean,
just like when you no joy when you're out fishing, getting hurt.
right. But I mean, and we're going to get into that too. But I mean, I could give you a nice Cox beef ribeye. If I said, "Hey, every bite you take, I get to kick you in the nuts," you'd be like, Yeah, get bent, pal.
Or just take that ribeye and just say, okay, now I'm going to take this hot sauce.
Bite your tongue every time you take a bite.
Take this hot sauce now, and you're going to take a bite with this hot sauce.
Yeah,
every
no
time.
one would do that.
And it's just miserable the whole time.
'Cause it
I mean, you're still
sucks.
eating a ribeye, but it's like, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, Matt, speaking of getting hurt while fishing, Brandon Card
Yeah.
on Bass Live Saturday, was that?
Yes, it was.
I believe it was Saturday. Caught a fish, and I knew it was going to happen.
Oh, yeah.
Things flopping around, and all of a sudden, ah! And you know what that means. And he hooked himself. He hooked himself
Oh, yeah.
good.
It was a good one.
And you said Matt Herron came rolling up
Yes.
and took care of that? I did not see that part.
I believe I didn't see it either, but I knew that there was talk about it online that old Matt Herron came rolling up with a rusty pair of old pliers. And
Do you know how to do that fishing line trick?
I've never done it. I mean, I've watched videos on it and everything like that, but
I wouldn't even have a clue.
I know, like, you got to take it and put it around there and put some pressure down on it while you yank out, so that that barb kind of gets unhooked from the skin that it is underneath. So.
Yeah, I think like you take some fishing line and you
Yep.
wrap it around the shank of the hook a
Yep.
bunch of times, and then you somehow apply pressure and you
then
have the other guy
just
take
give
a
it
rip
quick-
at it.
Yep. It doesn't
Sounds foolproof.
right. The people you see,
The other option
do
is
it,
just
they're
cutting
ju-
off the finger. I mean,
the people that seem to do it, like if you watch some of the videos, sometimes they're like, "Okay, I'm ready," and they're like, "Well, we just pulled it out," and they're just like, "Oh, really?"
really?
Yeah. Sometimes it goes that quick that the person doesn't even realize that. I suppose you're in so much pain from it being in there that you kind of are like, boom. I don't know the push through method though too would be. I don't know if they.
Oh
That-
God,
when they
no!
push,
and then you cut the barb off.
and then it
F
pulls out real
that.
easy. But
Yeah, right.
I don't
The
know.
other
there's-
method is me coming up and just punching you right square in the nose and taking your focus off, and then I take a pliers and just rip that son of a gun right on out.
Well, you see some of them horror stories online, like people getting them up underneath the hooks up underneath their
Oh.
fingernails, just
Oh.
like different places, hooked in the top of the head or something. It just doesn't look very much fun.
No. Speaking of, well, I got one here. And I don't remember if I've ever spoke about this. I feel like I've said this story before. But I've got a friend who at one point in time took a girlfriend out fishing and with a Rapala on the, what do you call that? The wind up for the cast? The wind up?
Yeah.
The backswing?
Yep.
Caught her in the eyeball.
Oh.
Eyeball.
I guess that's another reason why you wear sunglasses when you're out.
I'm pretty sure you ripped it out. I'm pretty sure.
When
I'm
he
pretty
went
sure.
to
I didn't
cast?
ask him about it because I mean, like they posted on Facebook, like, hey, this is what happened. Whatever her name was, is in the hospital. Blah blah blah. I don't think that there's much that they could do. And then it was shortly thereafter that he quit posting about it, and I think that was the end of that.
Right.
But
Ooh, that one.
that's the worst injury I've ever heard of.
That's a bad one. That's
Now,
a bad one.
Ramrod was talking when we were winding up to this deal that he at one time caught his sister in the neck and took her completely off her feet.
Right, broke his rod.
That dumb freaking moron over there also one time, back when he was working with me, he at one time got pissed off at work, ran out of work like a little freaking girl. I ended up catching up with him down by the river, and he was casting out all pissed off and huffy puffy like a little girl. And I swear to God, Matt, he went on a backswing, and that thing like actually grazed my nose.
Took a
Maybe
hair off of it.
it did. Like it actually had. I mean, I could smell the bait.
You knew what he was. Yeah.
I knew what he was throwing because it went by me. That like I felt the wind. I actually full on felt the wind. I'm not saying it actually grazed me, but I actually did feel the wind, and it was like right at that point in time, it was like you dumb mother, and that's when I knew like I don't even freaking like this moron. Like I don't even know why I'm down here.
Well, I think all of us that have fished for a while have had a lot of close calls. With
I had
it. You know, sometimes your hat might get knocked off, or I had it. Well, it wasn't a hook, but when I was fishing that
Yeah, with
open,
Sochi, yeah.
I had that sinker that rocked me right in the lens of my sunglasses and just about knocked me over. So you never know what's going to happen out there.
I had a rainbow trout, and you know how freaking wild
Oh,
those
yeah.
things are. I had a rainbow trout out on Deerfield 2 years ago that as I was trying to take a picture with it, that thing was freaking flopping. And I don't know, it was either you or my brother or Ramrod. It was on that us four when we were
Right.
out there. One of you guys was actually taking a video of me. And, yeah, that thing actually, I'm lucky that it had a good sticky hook on it. And it actually dug into my fingernail. And so it didn't
Oh, go
like it didn't actually
right.
go through, but I mean had it been on skin it would have, but
Right.
it got into the fingernail and that thing was flopping and it was like, oh
Yeah, that's the worst feeling is when you're hooked up.
it's hooked up, yeah.
Like when you got one hooked on, the hook is in you and it's in the fish too, and all of a sudden it starts to go crazy. That's one of those reasons why whenever you catch a northern, that it's always just like, oh, here we go.
Did
Those
you ever
things.
see that time Aaron Weeb got hooked to a lake trout
I believe I have
in a
seen
boat?
that one.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
I mean, then you're starting like, oh no, those things start, tearing hooks around in you, and
If I'm not gonna lie to you, like I don't even care if that fish is out of season and it's gonna make me over the limit. I'm smashing that thing in the head. Like I'm smashing that thing in the head.
before
Like,
it rips off.
I
Yeah,
am. I'm gonna get myself out of this situation like right now, and I don't even care. Like, give me the
it's
damn
either
ticket.
you or the fish. So.
It is. It's either me or the fish. And sorry, fish, but I'm a little bit higher on the food chain.
I've heard of guys before, like when you're like organizing your baits and everything like that, and you sit on one and get it caught in you. One guy, the one time I was at a guy was talking about musky fishing, a little clinic thing, and he said that he had set down like a Magnum Bulldog on the ground, and he forgot and stepped back on it and stepped on it, and it went way in past the barb. And
Oh my god!
it was hooked into the carpet and hooked into his foot, and he couldn't reach like his phone. Like so he
Oh
sat.
my
So he
God,
sat there
no.
like what do I gotta do?
No.
And I think he ended
No.
up like he had pliers close or something like that, and and had to rip it out of the carpet. I mean, there's another situation where it's like it's either the carpet or your foot.
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah,
well,
you're
sorry.
ripping carpet.
Yeah, so
Can
Yeah.
you imagine going into the doctor's office to get a fish hook removed from your butt because you sat on it?
right, sure you sat on it. Sure. No, that's what happened. There's a few, like every once in a while, like when you're watching, like say the Bass Elite Series tournament, and one of those guys has it, and they have to go into the hospital to get it removed. And there's a lot of like emergency rooms that have like a little like a trophy case almost with like some of the stuff they've removed because it's
I'm
happened
sure like
so
on
often
Gunnersville or
and stuff
Fork
like
or
that.
whatever.
Yep.
I mean, that's
It's kind of funny,
Right.
a lot of the stories that they have. Some of those doctors are like, "Oh yeah, we've seen. Yeah, oh yeah, we've had worse.
we've pulled
before."
out worse. I tell you what, like this is non-fishing related, but I used to wear a bunch of belt buckles,
Oh yeah,
and there was one time when I had a belt buckle laying on the floor in my bedroom, and I like stepped back, and like on the back side
Yep.
of a belt buckle, how it's got that little tab that
Yep.
goes in the hole, right on the heel of my foot. I stepped on that, and it was one of those deals like where you knew it hurt, and it was like, ooh, and then all of a sudden it went crunch, and it poked through, and
Oh,
like
yeah.
how your heel is like so
Yep.
calloused, like it took a second, and all of a sudden, oh my god, and like that is not something that just heals.
no,
Like that is a messed up deal. Like
Right.
that was a bad deal.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, my uncle the one time he was shingling his house and got himself right in the femur with the nail gun.
Really,
Yep, and it locked his leg back in the position that it was in. So he was stuck.
couldn't get it out.
So he was stuck up on the roof like that and had to go to the emergency room. Obviously, they had to get him off the roof and bring him to the emergency room. And he said it was like they just took like a pry bar and pried it out of his leg. So
Shut up. Oh my god. All that crazy stuff always happens like at the very worst situation. Like,
Right.
you know,
Yeah, oh,
and
yeah.
I don't know.
there's
Like,
never a convenient time for any of that to happen. Sometimes I guess you have your perfect scenario. Like, well, at least I was here when this happened and it was close. But yeah, when you're up on the roof by yourself and
yeah, I guess when you really think about it, like no one's ever gotten a hook in their hand in the hospital parking lot. Like, I mean, because what are you doing?
Right.
You know, I guess it's always going to happen out on the lake where you got a long boat ride in and
Yeah,
it's turbulent, the bad waves. Yeah. And, that's probably sometimes the reason why you got yourself into that pickle to begin with. You misstepped or, whatever. But
yeah, I'm glad I've never had any serious hook into me situations like that. But I mean, there's been
I
times
haven't,
where
but
you're
know
close,
it's coming.
Yeah.
You know it's coming. Like, you cannot fish. You just can't really be a person that fishes any amount of time that doesn't at some point in time have that happen.
Oh, right. Well,
and you know why I haven't had that happen? Because I don't frickin' use crankbaits.
A lot of the times when you're using
it's
those treble hooks,
always crankbaits. Them things are damn dangerous.
I know I took the dog fishing a few times, and I've had some situations where that was close, and I don't want to have that experience of having to get the hook out of a pet. Because trying to get them, because there's no communication there. You could tell them to calm down, but they don't know what the hell you're saying. So.
That's when you take a rag and you put a bunch of gasoline on it and put it over their snout and just knock them out for a second. And...
well, we were fishing over on Silver Lake the one time, and I had a northern, and I was reeling it in, and the dog saw it and jumped in after it.
Really?
And I was just like, oh, crap. I didn't care about the fish, obviously.
Right.
I just didn't want her to get any hooks into her, and luckily she didn't. So.
Yeah, then you got a net a fish and a dog.
Dog, right.
Yeah. Matt, did you see the Masters Walleye Circuit this weekend up on Big Stone, border lake of Minnesota and South Dakota?
I did not see any of the results for it.
You didn't miss much.
Along with it much.
You didn't miss much.
That's the way it sounds.
2-day tournament, and the winning team had, I believe, 4 fish the first day, 3 fish the second day. The second place team had 3 fish over 2 days. And then so did third place. Fourth place had already dropped down to 2 fish.
Wow. It sounds like a tough tournament. I mean, don't get me wrong. The weather conditions for a tournament this weekend were tough.
I think that was that a Thursday, Friday tournament or Friday? I think it was a Friday, Saturday tournament.
Friday, Saturday.
Yeah. But golly, I think on a lot of those tournaments, like the local area chamber of commerce and whatnot pays a lot of money to get these tournaments to their town because they know they're going to spend money at the restaurants, they're going to spend money at the hotels, and they're going to spend money at the bait shops. And I believe that they also feel like they're going to get a return on their investment because people are going to see oh, wow, that was up there at Big Stone. I don't feel like Big Stone got their money's worth.
Yeah, I don't,
Because if I'm looking to go walleye fishing right now, you know where I'm not thinking about going?
The Big Stone.
And no offense to Artie's, hey, I know that, they've got, and I mean, their perch bite I think is really good up there. I've got some friends that love fishing Big Stone, but golly, that did nothing
to make you want to go there.
Right.
To target walleyes. I think a lot of times the reason you see that early in the year is obviously it's a border lake, so it is open.
Yep.
A lot of people are chomping at the bit to get out there and get the tournament season started off. So they put something like that into the schedule to get the guys out there, just like a Mississippi River deal for the state of Minnesota.
Yep.
So it gets them out there on fish early, but like I said, you never know what the weather's going to be like, and I mean, they could go back out there maybe next weekend and do it again, and it could be completely different.
Absolutely.
And everybody crushes them. So,
well, and obviously, I mean, that team that got first place, when 2/3 of the teams don't even weigh a fish for the whole entire tournament, and they can go out there and catch 4 one day and 3 the next. They were on something special there. I mean,
they were obviously doing something that
they might have been able to beat the second place and the third place and the fourth place team combined.
Right.
But
yeah, they just found something that worked a little bit better. And I mean, their first day out there, the whole day they could have been thinking they had a terrible day.
Right.
And then they get back to the dock and everybody's talking about how they didn't catch fish or they only caught 1 or 2. I mean, we fished in tournaments before like that where it's like, if somebody caught 3 fish, it was like, holy buckets, they got 3 of them today. I mean, it's just, it is. I mean, sometimes it can go off. Sometimes it's not that way. Now, if they keep going back there year after year and it's the same results, then people are going to start saying,
I think it may be, because I saw, and forgive me, if you know better than us, which anyone who knows much of anything does, I don't know, shoot us a message on Facebook or whatever, and we'll bring it up again next week. But I do think somebody had wrote, like, when will Masters Walleye Circuit figure out not to go to Big Stone or something like that. So I believe that this maybe wasn't the first time that this has ever happened.
That was a tough one.
But and who knows, maybe the walleye bite on Big Stone's a night bite, and traditionally it always is.
Yeah,
I don't know, but I will give a shout out to Bryce Nilsson. He listens to the podcast and comments on some of our stuff on Facebook. He fished it, I believe, with his brother. I did see that on day one they didn't have a spectacular boat draw. I think there was maybe 70 boats and they were like number 60. But they didn't get any fish on day one. But on day two, I did see that they got one. And I think it was like 3-pounder. So 3.4 pounds or something like that. So
right on.
Hats off to the Nilsson crew.
Good to see a dirtbag out there doing
yeah,
good.
Dang right. So, Matt, boats. I was watching that Masters Walleye Circuit blast off, and obviously you've got people with $90,000 boats, and you got people out there with $3,000 boats. And I think that we've kind of touched on something similar to this before, but do you feel... Well, hold on one second. Another thing, I've been seeing a lot of posts, and I believe that it's just because it's spring. A lot of people are starting to look at buying some boats and whatnot, and a lot of people ask a question like, hey, I'm looking at this 1994, 16-foot Lund. Will this be good enough to, fish by Chamberlain? And all these people are like, oh, no, you're going to need better than that to go fishing out there on, the Missouri River. That wind's going to come up. And I think that they talk these people out of buying these boats.
Right.
You got to have the big, you can't be out there with nothing less than 18 foot and blah, blah, blah. It's BS.
Right, yeah, it really is. I mean, it's kind of like you can get out there with it. I mean, you got to watch. Obviously, anytime you're going to watch what the wind is going to be like and everything like that, but any boat can get you out there and get you fishing.
You could use that 16-foot boat out on the ocean some days.
Right.
I mean, of course, there's days when you don't want to be in a 40-foot boat out on,
exactly.
out on, some of these bodies of water. So, I guys, if you're looking at buying a boat and you're kind of stuck in that deal, like, well, let's be honest. Right now, I've got a 16-foot tracker boat that I bought from Matt last year, 2 years ago, whatever. And, I've taken this thing out on Okoboji. I've taken it out on, a few of these local area lakes. Do I want to take it out on 4th of July weekend, across Westlake Okoboji? No, of course I don't. But that doesn't mean that I can't fish these bodies of water. Most of the time I can fish any body of water I want up until about 10:30 because that's when all the pleasure boaters. I've literally been out on 4th of July weekend and seen dudes in 16-foot boats coming across frickin' West Okoboji, yeah. Father and wife and 3 kids, and they got frickin' smiles on bigger than hell, and like they don't give a rip that they got the smallest boat out there. Like, am I saying it's completely smart? No, maybe not. But last year when we were out by Platte. Me, Tanner, my buddy Austin Bruggeman. I don't remember who else was in the boat. And it was windy. Tanner's got a Tracker Tundra, Targa.
No, what is that one that he has? Yeah, I think
it's like I think it's a Tundra, but it's
a Tundra. It's a Tundra. Yep.
It's a stamped aluminum boat. We are talking about a freaking bad to the bone machine.
Is that the 20? Is his the 21 footer?
I believe so. I believe it's big.
The Walleye Classic 21
it's
footer,
big,
yeah.
and like this the whole entire boat was stamped by Boeing. It's all one piece, no welds, like stamped. And this is a ripping boat. And we come around the corner and we're like actually talking, like, oh man, this is rough, like it was pretty windy, whatever. We come around this bend in the river and there is a dude in a flat bottom, like 12-foot John boat tiller, like 8 horsepower tiller. He's out there fishing and he's kind of looking at us, like, we're getting splashed bigger than hell. And, it's like, oh man, this is rough. I don't even think he cared. Like his heartbeat wasn't even up. Like it was just like, yeah, dudes, like we're fishing. Like I said, do I think it's smart? No, not always. But don't get intimidated that you got to have, you know, a new boat, but B, a big boat
Right.
in order to fish.
I think that goes along with a lot of stuff, guys that are trying to get into tournament fishing and stuff. You think about like with bass fishing, sometimes people are like, well, I got to have the 21 foot or the 20-foot boat with the 250 on it. Otherwise I can't compete, there's nothing wrong with a 200 horse, or a 175 or a 150, an 18-footer, a 19-footer. Get what gets you out there.
You know what the difference is between a 250 and a 125 if you're going to open them both up and you're going to go flying across the lake? Maybe like 70 miles an hour to
60 miles per hour.
Yeah, even
that's why I get a kick.
Like, who cares?
I get a kick out of that too. Like a lot of times online, people are always just like, "Oh, what do I need to? I need more speed out of this." And sometimes, would it be nice to have a little faster boat? But sometimes it's like I don't think I'd want to go 70 plus miles per hour across the lake.
The only, like for you and I, Matt, we fish a little bit. Well, I guess the bass tournaments that we fish, we're fishing out of your Lund boat with a tiller motor on it. Like, we know going into that.
Yeah, we're not going to beat anybody.
We are going to be picking up the scraps that anyone else leaves behind. But if we were at a tournament where, say, we launch off Emerson Bay on Okoboji, or we launch off the state park on Lake Poncet or whatever, and we're going to run up north, like, a long ways, and you do, like, you've got the number one boat, so I mean you're going to make it up there, whatever,
right.
And you get passed by somebody, like, I think at that point in time when you roll up to your spot that you want to fish and you see that dirty sucker already there, at that point in time it's like, I need a bigger motor, right. Like,
right, yeah,
and, I get it, but
sometimes too, like, people forget about is like, okay, we've talked about
block them.
Well,
if you see them coming, like, swerve over in front of them.
Yeah, start throwing rocks. No,
you tell them, like, hey, you mother.
Well, we've talked about like the difference with the aluminum versus fiberglass. You're seeing a lot. The last 3 bass tournaments up and leading to this one were won by guys in aluminum boats, and the bass fishing snobs, I guess you could call them, or purists if you want to do it, think that you can only do it out of a fiberglass boat. Well, those guys have proved it. I mean, one thing too is like with that aluminum boat is it's lighter than the fiberglass.
Yep.
A smaller motor, you're not burning as much fuel, so you're saving money there too. So, I mean, yeah, you can have a 250 on there and you don't have to run it wide open throttle all the time, but it's still going to be using more gas up. I mean, sometimes it's more economical for you to go with like a 18 or 19 foot boat with a 150 or a 175 on there than going up to because then it's just like, okay, do I have a vehicle that can efficiently tow a 20 foot fiberglass boat compared to a 18-foot fiberglass boat? It all starts to add up, and with weight and everything like that. So sometimes that weighs in on your decision too.
Oh, for sure. I guess when you talk like that, like the bass fishing purists say that you have to have a fiberglass boat. Like, I gotta think that, like, down south on a bunch of these ponds and whatnot, like, I mean, these little flat bottom boats are what rule out.
Oh, right. Well, we talked about it last year. Look what happened with Keith Poche that time in that tournament. He pulled up. He had a 40 horse motor on it, a 17-foot boat, and he won. And people were mad because they thought he had an advantage because he could get into spots that people with bigger boats couldn't get into. So then all of a sudden, boom, they disqualified him because he didn't have a big enough motor and all this. And it was just like, man, I mean, as long as he's got what tournament officials deem safety proper and everything like that, let the dude fish.
Right. No, that's where I'm at.
I think we just get in our own head sometimes. I mean, we all do it. You get on Facebook to try to find some advice about something, and you go into a group, and I mean, I see it in the Humminbird one all the time. People will be like, hey, I'm thinking about buying this one. And you get 50 or 60, oh, it's junk. And you get like 100, oh, it's a great unit and stuff. Pretty soon people's heads are spinning. It's like, well, what do I do? It's like, what you do? You just go buy what you want to buy and, don't get caught up on the stuff online.
Right. You know how hard it is to buy electronics nowadays? Like,
it's nuts.
I mean, I was just looking at piecing together what it would take to put a live scope on the front of my boat. Like, what it would cost for, I don't know, what do they call that? It's not a monitor.
Transducer?
Well, the transducer and the live scope, everything. But, like, what do they call the actual
unit?
screen?
The unit?
That's what they call it, a unit?
Usually, yeah.
All right, a unit. I feel like there's another name for it.
All right. We'll have to figure it out.
Whatever. It's not that big of a deal. But, like, there's only certain ones that, can plug into
Right.
live scope and, whatever. It's like, for Pete's sakes, like, I mean, and there's not a bundle. There is for ice fishing.
Right.
But, I mean, there's not for this other deal. So, I don't know. I wouldn't feel comfortable. And granted, I'm sure I could go to any, bait shop or, whatever, a Shields or a Cabela's, and they'd be able to tell you. But, I mean, I don't know. That's pretty crazy that, how much that's come along that, this, you got to have this in order to have that. And, this, like, why would you even be making stuff anymore
Right.
that doesn't, I don't know. Whatever. Not my deal, but. Opener on the Iowa Great Lakes, Matt.
It's coming up.
This weekend, the Walleye Weekend over
Friday night at midnight.
Is that what it is? Friday night at midnight?
Yep, that's when, because it's technically Saturday then, and that's when Walleye Weekend begins.
Are you going to fish it?
I hadn't had plans on it yet.
What
You?
No, probably not. What I think is always crazy is especially like for us that live west of the Iowa Great Lakes, you constantly hear about these people that go walleye fishing for the first time this year over to the Iowa Great Lakes. They don't do very good, and then they turn around and go back to Silver Lake and try to catch a limit of walleyes, and Silver's been open the whole damn
Right.
time, and you
Yeah.
guys could have been there the whole time.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Whatever. I do believe last year they didn't have like much for festivities, like
No.
not much of anything. I think you could still buy your stuff online. Is that what it was last year?
I believe
But
so.
I couldn't really find much for statistics on last year, but the year before they had right at 2,100 anglers, and at $25 a piece, that puts you right in that $50,000 ballpark. And then I believe that they divvy all the money up, and it goes to like, I don't know. I think it's something, shoreline
Yeah.
deal, like for all the Iowa Great Lakes, I believe, right? Something
it
like
used
that.
to be Children's Miracle Network, didn't it, or something
I
like
wonder
that?
if they split it 50-50
Right.
because I don't know. There was something, I don't know. It's like the Lakes Protection Agency or something like that. I don't know. Sounded like something a little bit too high tech for me, but no, that is going on. I believe they got some pretty cool shirts this year.
Did they? I haven't even seen the shirts yet. I'll
Kind of
have to
like
check
an
'em out.
army green deal, and then they've got like I don't know, clam tikka minnow, like, and then crankbait, like a swim bait and a jig head, and I don't know, like just the outlines of it. It's kind of cool.
Well, I'll definitely check it out.
Yeah, I don't know. They say
For a lot of people that don't know what we're talking about is at the Iowa Great Lakes Walleye Weekend.
Well, why didn't you say that earlier,
was
Matt?
because you were talking like
Okay.
usual and wouldn't let me get in here, but no. So, anyways,
I'm done for the rest of the show.
well, I got to ask you some questions. So, how many tagged walleyes do they release into the lakes? Is it 5?
I'm gonna figure it out.
I don't know. Figure it out.
I think it's 8.
Is it 8
I think
now?
it's 8. I think it's
Releasing-
8, and there's $39,000 on the line.
Right. If you catch one of those tag fish, you're the only one that catches one during the weekend. They kind of split the pot between
Something like that.
like
yeah.
that. So
And
that's
then for
what's-
another $15, you can get on the extended
right.
deal, like for the rest of the summer.
Yep. And if you catch it through a tagged walleye throughout the summer, it's like $1,000 that you get. So it goes to a good cause. So it's always something to think about over at Okoboji and Spirit Lakes. It's always kind of fun.
And it gives you a reason to go fishing.
Right. Yeah.
If you tell your wife,
you
like,
have the
"Well,
opportunity to win up to $39,000.
babe, it's the opener. Like, I've never missed the opener. Me and Daryl go to the opener every year, and we can't miss it. And
Well, hopefully they're always telling Scott and Matt from the Midwest Angler Podcast told me I had to go out fishing this
Right,
weekend.
right.
That should usually work
it does. It does. 94% of the time, it works every time.
every time.
That's the
Science.
yeah, it's science and statistics and mathematics, and Matt's a teacher, and as he mentioned 2 weeks ago,
I
his
suck at math.
his math was good. That's Ellsworth education. That is
gooder.
not Iowa.
It was
education.
really gooder.
Way gooder. Do you got anything else, man?
Well, this past tournament, Elite Series,
All right. Fill us in.
cracked them. They got after 'em.
Oh, holy moly.
Everybody predicted that they might go over to the Century Club.
Not you.
I
Not
did.
you.
I thought it was going to be 96, 97, and it was looking like that in between the last couple days. But
Nah, I knew it was.
what did Livesey end up with?
112 or something?
112, was it? Wow. His last day was 42-something, 42.8.
Third place all time in biggest bag in BASS history.
That's crazy on 5 fish. Well, when you start your morning off with like a 7 and an 8 pounder, it's going to be a good day.
Yeah, you got to call like a 7-11 in order to
Well, I think I saw somebody too at one point, like it might have been him, that their smallest fish was a 4 pounder, and it's just like,
yeah,
That's
that was
crazy.
him. He was at like 37 pounds and 39 pounds in his smallest fish. Like, yeah, he had a lot to call. Hold on one second.
I mean, him being a local there, and kind of history, the locals always struggle when the Elite Series go to a place, but he didn't struggle, that's for sure.
Nope. He had a 9-2, 7-6, 8-15, 8-14, and 7-14.
Just a normal day on Lake Fork.
I don't think anybody ever went over 10 pounds, though.
Nope, nobody did.
Isn't that incredible?
It is. There was a lot of like 8 to 9 pounders caught, but
If you would have told somebody that somebody would come up with a 42-pound, 3-ounce sack and not have one fish over 10 pounds, you'd laughed in their face.
yeah, for sure.
And it happened. And no one, the whole dang tournament. I mean, I don't remember who it was, talked about how they had one person that caught an 11 or 12 pounder like right in front of them, like was working the same stretch as they were. I know Dave Mercer mentioned on his podcast that in practice one of the anglers caught a 12 pounder or something like that. So I mean, they were in there. They were,
Right.
I mean, people were catching them. Just
It's crazy watching Chris Zaldane fish. It looked like he was musky fishing all weekend.
huge rods, like freaking 8.5 footers or something
Right.
like that. Like I'm a Zaldane fan. Like, I mean, I think he's good for the sport. Like, I love his energy, whatever. But today, did you see that fish that he lost? Like, he hooks this fish and like goes bananas, like, like almost like stomping on the deck, like, oh my God, oh my, like, I mean, so animated, like whatever. And then he loses it. And it's like, well, yeah, dang right, you frickin' lost it, you dang moron. Like, frickin' stand there, keep your composure, and reel that dang fish in.
Right.
I mean, how frickin' tough is that? Like, Quentin Capo? Dude could have caught a 23-pounder, and like, I mean, he just
probably wouldn't have
cool
went
as a
up,
cucumber.
right.
Cool as
It's
a
crazy
cucumber.
how that like different people are out there. Like,
Yeah.
with that. But I did read on like Minnesota Bass Head. Somebody said that when Brandon Card caught like a 5 or 6 pounder today, and he made the comment of "It's not over yet," because
Oh yeah.
Brandon, you're 19 pounds behind. Even with 19 pounds, like
Yep.
for your 5 fish, you're still like 19 away
Yeah,
from
you
winning
ain't gonna
this sucker.
do nothing
so.
with 5-pounders. You catch a 10-pounder or an 11-pounder, you can say that. You can say like, hey, it's not over yet, because then there's that chance you follow it up with a 7-pounder and whatever. Because what did he have? 7-pound lead going into today,
Something like that.
over Lee. But yeah, whatever.
What 2 guys went over to the 100-pound mark, right?
Yep.
Was it 2?
And Patrick Walters.
Yeah.
I gotta tell you, like Patrick Walters, like I always thought like Patrick Walters. Excuse me. When I saw him, like he has his shirt tucked in. Like, I mean, he seems like, well,
Right.
like whatever. The way he was talking to his marshal today, he is now my least favorite.
I didn't
Bass
see
Elite
any
guy.
of that.
I should try to go back there. I'm sure it's on the archives. He was yelling at his marshal the one time that he was reeling in a fish to get that scale ready, get that scale ready, get that scale ready, get it zeroed, and whatnot. And it's like, holy moly, dude! Like, you need to freaking settle down. Like, he made a complete and total ass of himself.
Did he?
And I don't know. I'm just not for it. Like, he was talking to that marshal like it was his dog. And, I mean, I don't know. If I was that marshal, I probably would have looked at him and said, hey, I'm in your boat today. There's no changing that.
Yeah, we're stuck
So
together. So
you change your tune with me, or I'll make dang sure that I really start taking my time, and then you're really gonna. I'll give you something to be pissed off about.
Right.
Like, I don't know. Like, I really.
it must be the short shorts.
I think it was.
Little
Like,
too
I think.
tight.
I think he was working on an upper leg tan, and then he got an upper leg burn, and I know how that'll get a guy cranky. But
Yeah, you tan those upper thighs, man.
yeah,
Makes for a long day out on the
it
boat.
does. It does. You know, here's another thing that I think we've talked about. But like me and you last year, 2 years ago in October, we fished a back-to-back bass tournament where the first day we fished in snow.
Yep.
And the second day we fished in it started off pretty cold in the morning, and then it actually got decently warm, whatever. But I mean, you go 2 days in a row, like at night, you know, for us, we were de-thawing a boat and whatever. But I mean, you go 2 days in a row, it's 2 days of waking up extra early. You know, it's kind of later nights. You know, you don't eat very good. You're out in the sun, you're out in the elements. And like, it is hard on a person.
Oh, it
like,
really
even a
is.
2-day tournament.
Yeah, it takes a physical and mental toll on a person.
You do 4 days, and then like sometimes when they have these back-to-back tournaments, and then you're driving in between there.
Well, then
and,
they're
and
practicing from sun up to sundown.
I'm telling you, like, I mean, I think it for all of us, you know, and this is not just bass fishing. This is walleye fishing. This is everything. You know, I think it looks really glorious to, you know, be out there fishing and whatnot. You know, golly, making your living fishing.
It's a grind.
You ain't always fishing when it's 72 degrees and sunny and zero wind. Like, there are days where it is not nice.
And a lot of these guys, when they're first starting out and they don't have the funds to do everything, I mean, a lot of it is sleeping in their trucks.
Right.
You know, sleeping in random
Tenting.
places. You know, a lot of them went to the truck camping or
Yep.
just campers and everything.
Which
like
those
that.
things
So-
are freaking crazy.
Right, yeah.
I saw a while back, I was like, I'm just going to check out what one of these truck campers costs. Just, you know, I don't know. I just thought, yeah, it's kind of
Right.
cool, whatever. Holy moly. Like,
they know what they want for them.
yeah, you buy yourself a frickin' brand new Chevy pickup for $60,000 and then you get to throw a $70,000 camper on the back there. It's like, holy smokes, guys. Like, that damn
you're
thing made of gold?
You're starting to see a lot of them too now that are, you know, a lot of guys travel together obviously to cut expenses down, and they're starting to do the Airbnb, which is kind of neat
Oh,
too.
I was going to say, I ain't sleeping in the same camper as you.
No, man,
Ain't no
no.
damn way. Ain't no damn way.
In the same house is all right, but
Yeah.
there's walls that
We
separate.
need separate rooms, separate bathroom. You know.
So
All
no,
right.
that was a good one. Fantasy fishing, it's all. I mean, Big
Yep, they-
Tasty on his birthday weekend.
With the Drain the Lake, he had Lee Livesey, so and I think he had Zeldane. So yeah, hard not to do good when you got those two. I actually did really good for not having anyone, you know, I had Fighter, of course, but I don't know, the other four of my guys, like, they were all dudes that made the first cut. Only
Right.
Fighter made the second cut, but I mean, had good respectable finishes, but I didn't pick people with high percentage own or high own percentage. So I don't know. I was happy with how I did.
Yeah, I gained some more ground again, but you know, Keith Combs, I don't know what was up with him. His first day was bad. His second day he had like 28 pounds, and then he didn't catch anything the third day.
I'm not sure what the hell's
Right, and then Jake Whitaker hurt me too. I mean, at least he did a little bit better. He was down in like 90 something after the first day and moved up to 60 something. But then my other guys, I mean, Brandon Cobb hurt me on. I thought I was going to get 3 into Championship Sunday, but then his Saturday didn't do too well. But I had 2 of them on Sunday. But yeah, I don't know. It was tough. The Drain the Lake thing is kind of cool.
Yeah, it's neat.
I mean, it's going to be fun to see how that goes the rest of the
Yep.
season. I mean,
I think we got 21 people in our group that did the
Right.
Drain the Lake.
so, you know, going forward, now that you've picked some of these people that you can't pick them again, all of a sudden you come to a fishery that it's like, well, you got to kind of look at the schedule, what's remaining when you start picking your people.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Right. No, Matt.
You got a good news story for the week?
Well, before we had started this, me and you had kind of talked, and I got a feeling I know where you are going with your good news story, and I got a feeling that it could be longer than a 30-minute good news story or a 30-second good news story. So I'll let you fire off first.
No, I didn't really. I
thought you were going with your grandpa.
No, I talked about Grandpa last week,
Okay.
about his 95th birthday and everything like that. And I just told we were up at the bar eating the other night, and he comes walking in and sits down with us and, tells us some old stories. I just love hearing Grandpa's old stories and everything. But what I was going to go with this week was May term starts here at our school.
Okay.
And they're going to do the outdoor recreation class again, where the kids get to go fishing during the day. And
Who's going to bring them?
Well, Kyler Hoosman and Brad Raveline are doing it. So I'm just glad that program is going again, and we can have the May term this year, with everything that went on last year. And the kids get to get down there and enjoy the river, hopefully catch some fish and, get into it. I think there's 25 kids signed up for the class, so that's pretty cool.
You bet. My good news story, it's not exactly a story, but I just think it's funny. Like I said earlier, Grady had his 13th birthday party on Friday night, and I think it was my mom asked him what he was going to do with his birthday money, and he said he's going to buy strawberry milk and lotto tickets. And I even asked him afterwards, I'm like, that was such a funny deal. Like, there's no way you actually even came up with that. Like, you had to have heard that on a movie somewhere. I'm like, hey, where'd you hear that? And he kind of looked at me like, what do you mean, where'd I hear that? So, no, he shot that one from the hip. Strawberry milk and lotto tickets. And I don't know, I feel like that should be on a T-shirt somewhere.
Definitely. That's kind of his theme now.
Did you know... So I guess this is kind of going to get R-rated here at the end, but I think I don't know if it was actually related to Tim McGraw, but there was an old baseball pitcher named Tug McGraw,
right?
And they asked him one time, like he signed like a, I don't know, some big contract for back in the day, whatever, and they asked him what he was going to do with his money, and I think he said that he was going to spend like 3/4 of it on hookers and cocaine, and the other quarter he would waste.
There's always those good ones. That's like Fighter that a couple years ago after that tournament, when at the end of the year, and they asked him what he was going to do, and he said he's going to go home and get his wife pregnant and shoot greenheads.
Yeah.
I mean,
some guys just know.
He did.
They just know. Yeah,
he did.
He did knock her up. That's badass. Man.
Strawberry. Like I told
him, milk.
I want him to, next time we all go fishing, I want him to walk down to somebody on the dock and say, I'm here to do 3 things: drink strawberry milk, buy lotto tickets, and catch big bass. And I'm all out of strawberry milk, and I'm not old enough to buy lotto tickets. So
let's get her going. Get her going. That's when you're about to yank on some bucket mouths.
That's right. Lip them.
All right, guys. Well, that's episode 121. We've got a guest lined up next week for episode 122, so that should be fun. We will catch you guys next week. Later.